Hello viewers, today for the initial checkout we have a Toastmaster fan. This is the model number 5302 I don't know if I suspect 115 volts is probably not part of the model number, so it's just model number 5302, I guess. And this is a desk or a tabletop fan. There's a wall mount on the bottom. The base, I think it's a bakelite kind of material. And the blades are plastic as well, kind of a flimsy plastic. And the guard, of course, is the metal. The motor housing is metal as well. It is a 3-speed model. Oil. And it's labeled NG, which usually means no good, but I tend to think this probably is good. These were pretty much indestructible, even though they were very cheap at the time. Toastmaster, I think, was one of those like store brands. I have a few of their box fans and so forth. They definitely weren't the greatest quality, but I mean, greatest quality relatively speaking in the day. Of course, compared to anything today, these are phenomenal. This fan is, looks like a 12-inch. Yeah, it's a 12-inch. And I think the oscillation mechanism is having a problem. It's frozen up. This won't turn and doesn't really seem to want to. I mean, it moves this way, but it's not moving the way it should be. So this is probably going to need some help. How much help, I don't know. If it's a broken gearbox or something, then this could be kind of complicated to get it going again. But let's see if it at least runs. Here's the plug. I suspect this is the original plug. This is likely a product of maybe the 60s, would be my guess. Maybe 70s. Okay, it's plugged in now and nothing has exploded, so that's good. We'll start off with a 1. I'm not sure why that's labeled no good. It seems like it's perfectly good to me. It's pushing a good amount of air, as you would expect. Pretty well balanced, too. It's throwing out quite a bit of air. Now these blades are kind of really flimsy, and I don't know if this will pick up on the camera or not, but it looks like they're kind of flexing quite a bit as they move. I recently purchased another camera, and it records at 1,000 frames per second. And this blade from the side may be an interesting thing to record so we can see exactly what it's doing. Okay, now we'll go down to number 2, or up to number 2. This kind of seems like it would be high speed. Yeah, that was definitely high speed. This is the medium speed, marginal decrease, and low. Again, also not a big increase. Now, somebody had mentioned to me a while back that one of the reasons why a lot of these older fans don't seem to have a lot of variance in speed is because we're running them at 100, 125 volts, whereas they were intended for 110 or 115, and that extra 10 volts or so is the reason as to why there's not as much of a variance. Now, I don't have a Variac control or anything at the studio at the moment, but I suspect if this was running at 110 or 115 volts, there would be a much greater variance in the speeds. It's kind of noisy, but I'm not too surprised for a plastic blade situation. Spin down time is pretty decent, especially considering it probably has never been oiled, at least not within the last couple of decades anyways. Not a whole lot of pitch to these blades at all, so this definitely works more off of speed than pitch, which is why it's noisy. The motor's already a bit warm. It does have an oil port on the front as well. There certainly were people that oiled fans back when this was sold, but even then these were not commonly serviced correctly. But yet, since the build quality was so good, they survived years and years of arguably misuse without much of a problem. So that's that, the Toastmaster 5302 fan. It's in pretty good condition, a little bit of scratches on the paint there, but I think this will clean up to be really nice cosmetically, and maybe I'll be able to fix the oscillator. Wonder if that's all like balancing weights right there. I tend to think it probably is. Definitely don't see that anymore.